part, we did a stay stitch because the dart there was a bias because it was on a curve. So since this is a neckline, we also have bias here. This is a neckline. If you're going to be making a garment where you have your neckline cut out, you have a curved neckline, or definitely if it's a V neck, you want to make sure that you do a stay stitch so it doesn't stretch or move. So I'll need to do a stay stitch first. And your stay stitch is always at an inch and a half. This is a stitch you're not going to be taking out. So start sewing this a little bit less than a half an inch. So I won't have to worry about taking it out.
Is that half an inch or four?
No, it's a little less than a half an inch. So I don't know what that measurement is. But if you notice here where I have the half an inch line, I'm not on the line, so it's a little bit away from that. And I'm only doing it this way so that it holds the neckline in place, and then also while I'm sewing, when I actually sew it, I won't have to take this out. It's going to be hidden. But if after you finish sewing everything, you see some of your stitches still showing on the outside, then yeah, you're going to have to take them out. So this is going to save me some time. So there's my stay stitch. My stay stitch around the neckline. Now I'm ready to sew both pieces together. Now with this curve, the curve around the neck hole is not too steep, it's not too deep. So pretty much the facing and the neckline measure up exactly just right. Now the next curve that we'll do, you guys will notice that we'll have to slash it to get it to fit, but with this one everything fits perfectly. This is pretty easy. So line up your notches. So you want to make sure that you're matching your notches. And anytime you're putting two fabric pieces together, you're not putting them together based on the ends of the fabric. The first thing you want to match up is the notches, and everything else will fall into place after that. Alright, so those are my notches in place. Now I'm going to sew them together, 2.5. This is just a regular stitch. And I'll be sewing at half an inch seam allowance. Alright, and with this one we'll do a back stitch. Did you guys finish lining the roll? You can pass it back up to me. Alright, so now we've attached our facing to the neckline. Alright, now the next thing we'll need to do is we're going to press the seam open. We'll need to press the seam open, and we'll also need to fold it back. Now in order to do that, you can tell we have a little bit of resistance. So what we'll need to do is slash. So we'll slash along the curve, and this is going to allow you to fold this backwards easily. So notice that I'm slashing it only within that 1/2 inch seam allowance, but I'm not slashing through my stitch line. So you want to make sure that you stop short of that. Alright, so once you do this, this is going to just relax your fabric. So now you're able to press your seam open. Use the ham when you're doing this. Place this on the ham, press it open, and the ham is going to help you to keep the curve. So you press it round, just like that. Alright. Now once you press it open, then you'll take your facing and then you'll press it back. So first you're going to press this open, then you're going to press them closed. Okay. Now once you press them closed, press along your seam line. Is that like a machine or something? Is it? Oh, there's another one on. Alright, so you're going to press it closed. So this is the front. The side that has the facing. Now once you've pressed this closed, then I want you guys to go inside. We're going to do an understitch. So the understitch actually allows your front facing to roll back so that we don't see the edge of your seam along the neckline. So it causes the front neckline to roll over, so that your seam line can appear on the inside of the garment where no one can see it. So the understitch is very important. You guys are going to be using this a lot. So now to do your understitch, we're going to press your seam allowance towards the side that has your interfacing. Okay? Don't press it open, just press it towards the side that has the interfacing. Okay? Now once you press it to the side with your interfacing, you can turn it over to the right side so that you can see what you're doing. And you're going to sew your understitch 1/8 of an inch from your seam line. Okay, so this is the example. Make sure that you're keeping all of your seam allowance pressed towards your interfacing. Because I didn't do it with the iron, I have to do it by hand, so I'm going to continuously adjust it. But with you guys, it should hold. Alright, so this is just a regular stitch. It's just 2 1/2. So if you look inside of your garments, you guys will notice that you have an understitch around necklines, around armholes. Are you guys starting to look at your clothes while we're doing these samples?
Yes.
Sometimes, maybe not. And then just start figuring out how things are made. I had one student who, everything we were making in class, she went to Ann Taylor and she just noticed. She was like, this is the same skirt that we made at $70 in the store. And I know how to do it, and just try to make those connections about what you see in the store, what you're actually wearing, so and what you know how to do. All right, so to keep this at 1/8 of an inch, I'm using my presser foot with the seam line here, making sure the seam is on the inside of the left side of my presser foot. And also making sure all of my seam allowance is pressed towards the interfacing. Is there another sewing machine on? I hear something. Sounds like something else. Maybe I'm wrong. Is that machine on over there? Right there? I guess not, no. Do you guys hear another sound coming from another direction?
Sounds like
we're keeping this 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay, so that causes, you guys notice how that pulled the entire neckline back, so you don't see that seam coming towards the front. So it pulls it backwards and it keeps it hidden against your body. Alright, and if you have any other stitches that are showing, like here I have a little bit of my stay stitch showing through, and you could just take your stitches out so you have a clean finish like this one. Alright, now the last thing we'll do to finish this off is now we're going to add our Hong Kong finish. And most times with the Hong Kong finish, you guys won't see this in mass market. You'll mostly see this in more designer clothing because it takes a while to put it on. And then also you can finish any of your edges. Sometimes you can see, if you go into Saks or Neiman Marcus, you'll see actual blazers, pants, shirts that are finished with the Hong Kong finish on all seams, which takes a lot of time. But they'll use a Hong Kong finish instead of actually using a lining, so it replaces the lining. And if it's a more of a fine apparel garment, then you want to make sure that you're not using the overlock or serger machine on the inside of the garment, so you want to have a nicer finish. Alright, so you can tell here on the end where one side is shorter than the other side, so I know that when I'm stitching on this side, I'm going to make sure that I catch the longer side. And this is 1/8 of an inch from the edge, so if you guys notice here, just 1/8 of an inch from the edge of the fold. Alright, and this is a regular stitch, so it's at 2 1/2. We'll do a back stitch in the beginning. Right, and as you go around, you'll just continue to adjust it. And again, I'm just keeping that fold on the inside of the right side of my presser foot. So that's going to give me 1/8 of an inch along the edge. Since you're sewing around a curve, you'll probably need to just continually just adjust it and readjust it, so you don't get any puckers. Very easy, but there are a lot of steps to this one. So that's our Hong Kong finish, and then you'll press it flat. Alright.